A little quiz for you. I'm going to name 8 topic areas. And I'd like for you to tell me what they have in common. Refrigerators and freezers. Vacuum sealed. Wait till I get them. That's okay. Good for you. You're alert. All right, so refrigerators and freezers, vacuum sealed containers, printed books and journals, computer hard drives, safes and banks, insurance policies, personal promises, and marital vows. What do they have in common? Can't hear you. They all hold something. Any other suggestions? Yes. There's 2 of each of them. Okay, that'd work. Any others? They complement each other. All right, so here's what it is. They all keep things. While they each have their own levels of security, they also have their own unique weaknesses. If there's no electricity, food in refrigerators and freezers will perish. Things that are vacuum sealed are good until the seal is broken. And if it's food, it'll be good until the shelf life expires. Books can keep things recorded for hundreds of years, but the atmospheric conditions must be right in order for them to be kept. Computer hard drives are safe as long as there's no virus. Banks and vaults are safe, but the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation really only secures you up to $250,000 per account or insurer. And while insurance companies are required by the Federal Reserve System to maintain a larger volume of money on reserve than banks, they're still not that safe. I mean, you may recall or have heard about a robbery that took place in 2004. A gang of robbers robbed the Belfast Northern Bank for the equivalent of 34 million American dollars. And lastly, promises will keep, but it kind of depends on who is making the promises. On the other hand, marital vows take on greater dependability because they're usually made before witnesses and before God. But even some of these will fail. So it all depends on what is being kept and how it's being kept and who is doing the keeping. Psalm 121 is one of several psalms that are known as the Psalms of Ascent. The Songs of Ascent are a special group of psalms between the 120th Psalm and the 134th. Songs of Ascent are also known as pilgrim songs. These psalms were used by the Jews traveling towards Jerusalem for the yearly Jewish festivals. Each of these songs describes upward movement, hence ascent. But the trip is that if you're in Palestine and if you're going to Jerusalem, Palestine is has many hills. But if you're going to Jerusalem, it doesn't matter where you're coming from, you got to go up. And so just imagine pilgrims on their way to worship the Lord on any of their several feasts and celebrations. So in the psalm today, we see the first and second verses saying, I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where will my help come? And the affirmative comes back, my help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. So if someone heard the Jews singing that song, they might want to ask, well, wait a minute, why are you lifting your eyes up? And the answer would need to come back very affirmatively. I lift up my eyes because my help comes from the Lord. He's the one who made heaven and earth. I chose to depend on the Lord because God is the creator of all things, animate and inanimate. Therefore, the Jewish pilgrims believed, as I believe, that we can look up beyond the hills because God is dependable, trustworthy, and faithful. In fact, I'll look to the hills every day and 6 ways from Sunday, which means that God can depend on every day of the week in every possible way, and he can be depended on completely. So if I'm going anywhere, I'd rather have God rather than an American Express card. I'd rather have the Lord, even as Billy Graham's preferred soloist often sang, I'd rather have Jesus than silver or gold. I'd rather be his than have riches untold. I'd rather have Jesus than houses or land. Yes, I'd rather be led by his nail-pierced hands than to be the king of a vast domain and be held in sin's dread sway. I'd rather have Jesus than anything this world affords today. So when you depend on the Lord, you've got several assurances, and the sermon title is not just kept. I intended for it to be changed to safe, secure, and kept. Hubline Tower. This was taken about 10 years ago when we were living in Bloomfield. And I'd just come home from church, and our house was facing Hubline Tower about 3 miles away from where we lived. And I looked at the sky, and I almost fell apart. I said to Debbie, I got to run in and grab a camera. I got to get over to the cemetery, because that's the best location to see from Mountain View Cemetery is the best location to see Hubline Tower at that time of the evening. That's the shot I caught. On the left-hand side of the screen on the right-hand side is Hubline Tower during the summertime. On the left-hand side of the screen is a view from Hubline Tower at the very pinnacle. I shot that. Unfortunately, the quality of that picture doesn't do merit. But I was up there, y'all. It was 20-something years ago when I had no physical known disabilities. And Chris and I walked up to the top. And I was like a mountain goat making my way up to the top, and as we were descending. And I had no idea until just recently that the round-trip route to the top is 2.5 miles, mostly uphill. And the point that I want to raise with this is that while the best place to see fall foliage for me is up at the top of Hubline Tower, guess what? I won't be going back up there anymore. But when I look down at the Simsbury Valley, as I looked down, I felt safe, secure, and kept. I was safe because I had gotten up there without any problem. And after I thought about it, when I got down without any problems. But the Jews sang this song because they had a sense of how God would protect them. They had a sense that God would keep them even when they slumbered out under the stars. That they didn't have to worry about whether or not they would be safe, secure, and kept, because the Lord promises that he would keep them. And he promises that the God who keeps them would neither slumber nor sleep. And you know, that's a pretty secure kind of environment to be in. To think of being out in the wilderness where there are all kinds of animals that could gobble you up, where there are all kinds of thieves and vagabonds who could assault you and take away your resources. To have the Lord say, you go ahead and sleep. I will not slumber nor sleep. Why? Because I am your keeper, the Lord says. And we can be assured that no matter how we sleep, we can be assured that the Lord will not take a nap. I love the way that Charles Haddon Spurgeon wrote about these thoughts. Charles Haddon Spurgeon was the pastor of the Park Avenue Baptist Church somewhere in England. And as he considered these words from the psalmist, he wrote, when we go out in the morning to labor and come home at eventide to rest, Jehovah shall keep us. When we go out in youth to begin life and come in at the end to die, we shall experience the same keeping. Our exits and our entrances are under one protection. 3 times we get the phrase, Jehovah shall keep, as if the sacred Trinity thus sealed the word to make it sure. Ought not all our fears be slain by such a threefold flight of arrows? What anxiety can survive this triple promise? This keeping is eternal, continuing from this time forth and even forevermore. The whole church is thus assured of everlasting security. The final perseverance of the saints is thus ensured, and the glorious immortality of believers is guaranteed. On the aegis of such a promise, we may go on pilgrimage without trembling and venture into the battle without dread. None are so safe as those whom God keeps. None so much in danger as the self-secure. To goings out and comings in belong familiar messages of security and safety and being kept. That's why there's a number of verses of Scripture that really do a job on my heart. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not rely on your own insight. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight paths for you. Joshua 1:9, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Psalm 9:10, those who know your name trust in you, for you, Lord, have never forsaken those who seek you. Psalm 31:14, but I trust in you, Lord. I say, you are my God. Psalm 56:3. When I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. And then Psalm 122. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go to the house of the Lord. Our feet are standing within your gates. I don't know what tomorrow holds for you, but I got three things I want to get to you real quick. On our way home this afternoon, we're not taking Route 44. We like to go the hilly way. We like to go the back road. We like to go up and down throughout all the hills, past the reservoir, past the rivers and streams. Love to go and see what the Lord is providing us. Even though sometimes you make those turns, you're not sure what you're going to meet on the other side of the turn. I feel safe, secure, and kept. Psalm 124, verses 2 through 4 and 8. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, let Israel now say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, when our enemies attacked us, then they would have swallowed us up alive when their anger was kindled against us. Then the flood would have swept us away. The torrent would have gone over us. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. I don't know about you, but I don't know what is coming around the bend for me. But I walk into it with a sense of safety, security, and being kept. And no one can take care of me like the Lord takes care of me. We got 43 years, Debbie and I, in marriage. 2 additional years while we were friends and planning for marriage. And she keeps me really well. She's no competition. Because when I get sick, all she can do is take my temperature. All she can do is, can I get you some medicine? All she can do is, let me help you get to the doctor. She can't keep me. The Lord is my keeper. The Lord is my sustainer. The Lord is the one in whom I trust and depend on, not only this day, but every day throughout the rest of my life. However long I have to live, the Lord keeps me safe, secure, and kept. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, Debbie, we're closing with yours. So all these shots were shot by members of our congregation and a couple of friends outside of the congregation. But they all depicted the same message. We lift up our eyes towards the hill, and this shot was done by Ashley, looking down the hill into a valley in Meriden. Wherever your travels lead you, trust the Lord. Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. He assures us that he will keep us, sustain us, and meet our every need. Amen. Eternal Lord our God, we thank you for being our provider, being our provider of safety, being our sustainer. being our keeper. We celebrate the knowledge that when we close our eyes at night, we trust that you, O Lord, will keep us. But we really have no idea whether we'll open our eyes on this side or open our eyes in your presence. But wherever it is that we open our eyes, we celebrate that you are our keeper. And we thank you for this. Amen.